Welcome all. My dear friends, let us continue our journey in the world of IPR. Okay. So till now we have discussed about the form number 13 and the relevant sections and rules associated with it. Okay. In the previous lecture we have already discussed about the relevant section, that is section number 57 of the Patents Act 1970 as amended by 2005. So now it is a turn for the relevant rule, that is rule number 81. And as we know that this section and this rule are based on form number 13, let us take a look what is form number 13. Though already we have discussed, let us again refresh our memory by just clicking here. Okay. See, Form 13, application for amendment of patent application, and this is a brief. This title is not the, we cannot say, this title is not full. This is a brief title. I have written this brief title just to remember. It becomes easier to remember this. That's it. That's all. Okay. So, let us continue. Uh, Just actually before going to the rule number 81 in detail, let us again go to our slide that we previously discussed. That means where we have linked up the form number, the section number and the relevant rule number. Okay. So let us continue to that slide. Fine. 13. Form number 13 has the title Application for Amendment of the Application for Patent or Complete Specification. That means we need to apply for the amendment of the application or the complete specification. This is the title, and the related section is 57 and the related rule is Rule 81, Sub Rule 1. So section 57 has the title Amendment of Application and Specification or any document related thereto before the controller. Fine. And similarly, Rule 81 says Amendment of Application, Specification or any document relating thereto. So you can see here the keyword is application, the keyword is amendment. Here you can see the keyword amendment. In section you can see the word amendment. In rule also you can see the keyword amendment, and here the relationship has been established with form 13. Next we will, now let us proceed by picking a rule that is actually we have discussed. So the particular rule of the Patents Rules 2003 is amended by Amendment Rules 2021, and this rule is said before, the rule number is rule number 81, and this comes from chapter 9 whose title is Amendment of Application, Specification or any document relating thereto. Okay, and here friends you can very well see one thing. The title for rule number 81 is Amendment of Application, Specification or any document relating thereto. So can you find any similarities, any resemblances between these two titles? If you go to the titles in detail, you can see, just I am reading it again. Amendment of Application, Specification or any document relating thereto. This is the title for chapter 9. Okay. And Amendment of Application, Specification or any document relating thereto. This is the title for rule number 81. That means the title for chapter 9 and the title for rule number 81 both are same to same. You can remember like this. Fine. Okay, let us proceed then. For rule number 81, there are three sub-rules. The key phrase or the key term for sub-rule 1 is amendment of an application. For sub-rule 2, this has not been granted. That means the key phrase is not been granted. And for sub-rule 3, the key phrase is after grant of patent. Okay. So again I am telling that I have picked my own key terms. You can pick your own as per your intellect and try to remember these keywords or the key terms so that you can very well recall the gist of the subsections or the section as a whole. Fine, let us proceed then. Now, subrule 1. Subrule 1 says an application under section 57 for the amendment of an application for a patent or a complete specification or any document related thereto shall be made in form 13. Actually, these things we have discussed a lot because in the slides where we have linked up the section, rule and form, there also it was pretty clear. But still, here as a rule, as a sub-rule, it is given in detail. An application under section 57, that means as per section 57. For what? For the amendment of an application for a patent or a complete specification. Okay. Or any document related thereto. Fine. And where it will be made? It shall be made in form number 13. That's all. Fine. So what is form 13? Form 13 is application for amendment of the application for patent or complete specification. What is section 57? This is amendment of application and specification or any document related thereto before controller. Fine. So I think it is pretty much clear. We can proceed to the next subrule. Subrule 2. If the application for amendment under subrule 1 relates to an application for a patent which has not been granted, the controller shall determine whether and subject to what conditions, if any, the amendment shall be allowed. Okay, that means this is a situation where a patent which has not been granted, and this word, friends, within square brackets, that is single star, this one is actually substituted by we can say by the word accepted. That means earlier the word was accepted and now with effective from 1st January 2005, this accepted was substituted by the word granted. Okay, earlier it was accepted, now it is granted. Fine, I think it is clear now. So again, just take a look here. Now, if the application for amendment under subrule 1, that means that we have just now discussed, relates to an application for a patent which has not been granted. The situation is like this, right? The controller shall determine, then the controller shall determine whether and subject to what conditions, if any, the amendment shall be allowed. That means we can say subject to what conditions, if any, the amendment shall be allowed. Okay, so he will find out the conditions where the amendment can be allowed. Fine, I hope it is clear now. Next we can go to subrule 3. Subrule 3 says, subrule 3 has 3 clauses actually. So clause A says, if the application for amendment under subrule 1 is made after grant of patent and the nature of the proposed amendment is substantive, the application shall be published. Clause B says, any person interested in opposing the application for amendment shall give a notice of opposition in form 14 within 3 months from the date of publication of the application. Clause C says, the procedure specified in rules 57 to 63 relating to the filing of written statement, reply statement, leaving evidence, hearing and cost shall so far as may be apply to the hearing of the opposition under section 57 as they apply to the hearing of an opposition proceeding. And friends, we can say the whole subrule 3 is actually a substituted one. That means earlier this was something else, and now this is like this. Okay, that's why the square bracket is covering the whole subrule. Fine. So this is substituted by, we can say this is substituted for subrule 3 with effective from 1st January 2005. Okay, that means you can refer the bare act. Okay, and so just remember one thing, that the whole subrule 3 has been substituted, and after 1st January 2005. Okay, so let us actually go through somewhat deeply. Okay, so clause 1 says if the application for amendment under subrule 1 is made, subrule 1 that we have discussed, right, is made after grant of patent. The condition situation is after grant of patent. Okay, and the nature of the proposed amendment is substantive. Okay, the nature of the proposed amendment is substantive one. Okay, the application shall be then published. Fine, this is the case, one case. Another case is, we can read it like this. Clause B says any person interested in opposing the application for amendment shall give a notice of opposition in form 14. Fine. If any person interested, if he wants to oppose the application for amendment, he or she shall give a notice of opposition via form 14, and that too within 3 months from the date of publication of the application. Fine. This is another situation. And clause C says the procedure specified in rules 57 to 63 relating to the filing of written statement, reply statement, leaving evidence, hearing and cause shall so far as may be apply to the hearing of the opposition under section 57 as they apply to the hearing of an opposition proceeding. Okay, just observe this. So far as may be applied to the hearing of the opposition under section 57. Opposition under section 57. As they apply to the hearing of an opposition proceeding. That we already discussed. Fine. So, please, I will tell you that please refer rules 57 to 63 of the Patents Rules 2003, and please refer to form 14 which talks about the notice of opposition. Okay, so I hope it will be clear now. It is clear, it is pretty clear now. Fine. So please go through all the sub rules of rule number 81, and if you have any queries, then put them down in the comment box. Fine. Okay. The reference is Patents Act 1970 as amended by Amendment Act 2005 and the Patents Rules 2003 as amended by Amendment Rules 2021. Okay friends, thank you all for watching my video and listening to me. Okay, so please like, share and subscribe the channel, and please put down your compliments, comments and queries in the comment box. Thank you. God bless you. Stay safe, stay blessed. Jai Hind.